Okay, so this is the Chromebook Management session for Edcamp Home 2.0. We have a few people in here. I am Ryan Archer. I am in San Diego, California. We have approximately 2,200 Chromebooks coming to us in the next few weeks, and somehow that fell on my shoulders of managing them. So that's why I wanted to start this session. I know we have other people in here who have more information, and so I'm hoping to learn how to manage the Chromebooks. And Ray, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, and we'll just kind of go down the line?
Sure. I'm Ray Fearing from Northern California. I work for Del Norte Schools, and I'm excited to be here because we're about to purchase several hundred Chromebooks, which is a lot for our district. And we have a few already deployed, but I'm really interested in learning about how we can maximize these. We do a lot of work with iPads, and so I'm interested to really know what I'm doing with these Chromebooks to help support the teachers and get the students creating with them as best I can.
Great. Paul, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Paula Noggle. I'm a fourth grade teacher in a suburb of New Orleans, Louisiana, and just got my first Donors Choose project funded, and on that I asked for a Chromebook. I got a part 1 and a part 2, so the first one got funded in just over 24 hours, and the second one's about halfway there. So I'm hoping when I go back on Monday, about a week later, I will be getting 2 Chromebooks for my classroom.
That was great. And then Ryan, are you able to speak now?
Yeah, I think so.
There, yeah, we can hear you.
All right, great. Yeah, my name is Ryan McRailed. I am the instructional technology educator at St. Joseph Academy, which is an all-girls private Catholic school in Cleveland, Ohio, hence the cold weather gear. Do have some family down in the Baton Rouge area, or actually in the New Orleans area, so go Saints. And so, yeah, we deployed 700 Chromebooks to our 700 girls this school year. We're about 4 months in. I mean, we started September 4th or something, and it's been awesome. So I've got a lot to share.
Great. Yeah, I'm glad that you have them going on already. Like I said, we're getting them for testing, and hopefully, it's been a little bit of a battle to get them, the district, to understand that they're not just for testing, that they should be used in a one-to-one environment. So we're going through that battle right now and trying to figure out the teachers who are going to actually have them in their classroom and how they're going to be used. So it'll be interesting to hear how you guys are doing it.
Great.
Okay, so I guess, well, with Paula, you're just getting 2, so I think the management for yours, I would assume, Ryan, you probably know better, she'll probably just manage hers just on the device itself.
Yeah, because what was the purchase minimum was like 30 or 10 or something to get the domain management for each device. So, unless you've purchased that quote-unquote bulk quantity, yeah, you're kind of on your own.
Okay.
And then let me ask you this, Ryan. I know there's several ways, I think, to get them all in the system. I think we have a company who's going to put them in for us, but then how did you get them, how did you, I guess, group yours together? Did you group them by grade level or by classroom, or how did you do that?
Yeah, and it basically just comes down to how you have your user groups set up. So, I mean, if you've got them set up by grade level, that's great. That's probably the easiest way, is just go by like grad year. And we can, we've been kind of toying with the idea of, we've only blocked a few websites. So, we've, against my better judgment, we've blocked Twitter, which drives me nuts, but the girls aren't there yet. We blocked Facebook, but I'd love to see something where like maybe freshmen are like most restricted, where seniors are least restricted, and we can set those limitations up by grade level, or maybe even something even more granular where it's if we've got students who are on learning plans, and we say, okay, you have limited access because you need to be more focused on this tool doing this for you. I don't know. I mean, it's really up to you how you want to set it up. But having a good plan in place for how you want to manage your devices is is pretty important.
Ryan, I have a question. We're a Google Apps, either Ryan, both Ryans. We're a Google Apps for Education school district, and so we have our students categorized into year of graduation, and we do have the different settings. So if you're a freshman, you have a more restricted access to things in Google, and then seniors we leave wide open because they are getting ready to be on their own. And we manage only 10 devices right now. We're getting about 300 more. And those 10, we paid for the licensing, the extra $30 per device. And so I'm going to pay for that on these as well, I guess. But, you know, I don't know that we use it because there's not a lot to manage. We enrolled them into our domain, so I can manage them from my Google Apps dashboard. But am I understanding that that licensing allows the teacher to do more management within the classroom?
My understanding is no. You would, the management comes unless you're giving the teachers admin privileges to the devices. Okay. You know, if you're giving them that power, it's kind of I guess that's kind of risky business. I don't know, but it might be more than they really want to deal with. So yeah, I would think that that's just something you want to keep at the admin level. And you know, if the teachers have requests, say, oh, can you push out this app to all of the students in this group, then they're able to do that. Or, you know, my class wants to use the graphing calculator. You can push it out to the devices that they have in their rooms. And it's just easier to deal with it that way instead of just saying, okay, everybody, do you have it, or load it up yourself or whatever.
Okay, so that makes a little more sense. So we'll just, that's kind of how we manage our iPads, and so I think we'll do that again with the Chromebook. So thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Are there any limitations that you're finding on the Chromebook that you either weren't aware of or knew and didn't realize that it would be as limiting as you thought it might be?
You know, we did a lot of research ahead of time, and our big concern was, well, not our big, some of our teachers' concerns were obviously the heavy lifting that a regular laptop might do. We've just decided to maintain our labs and whatever laptop carts we do have, just as supplements. You know, we're looking at the Chromebook as just another tool in our arsenal for learning. So I mean, it is a one-to-one. It is on them at all times. They take it home with them. I mean, it really is a true one-to-one. But you know, the limitations. Obviously, you know, people are freaking out because it's not Microsoft, but it's like we don't want to teach them Microsoft. We want to teach them how to word process. You know, we don't want to teach them PowerPoint. We want to teach them how to make a presentation. It's not. It doesn't matter what the brand name is. You know, so it's just a mentality that people need to let go a little bit and figure out what works for them. Some of the, you know, like Shockwave. And some of the old Flash-based, you know, interactive modules that you may have had in math or science, those were kind of limited, but there's a lot out there that you can just kind of sift through and dig through to find replacements for. And we did a little of that before rollout, just to sort of ease the tension.
Paula, we had a lot of questions about... I'm sorry, Ryan, were you still talking? I didn't hear you.
No, it was like there's a lag.
We had a lot of questions, too. A lot of teachers didn't want to get the Chromebooks because they were concerned about not having a full functioning computer. And there were two main concerns. One was Microsoft Office. They wanted to be able to teach Microsoft Office, and I agree with Ryan that that is not a selling point for getting a job anymore. We have a student... because we've been Google Apps for a couple years now, and a student applied for a job at the National Parks office, and the National Parks is Google Apps. Our local college is Google Apps, and one of the things they asked the kids on their application was, do you know how to use Google Apps? And they're like, well, yeah, my school went Google, and that helped them get that job. So I think people need to let go of, if you don't know Office, you're not going to have that advantage. And I think Google Apps is still kind of a scaled-down version of Office. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but it runs the same. Like Ryan said, it's word processing. The other concern our teachers had, and one school chose not to go Chromebooks. They bought some laptops, which I'm concerned a little bit about, but we'll see. Because they were concerned that when there's no internet, the kids wouldn't be able to do anything. And so that was one big worry, is if we do lose internet, which isn't very often, that then they can't use it at all, and then not having the ability to save things to the computer, they wouldn't have their files on the computer to work with. Ryan, do you have any experience with that?
Sorry, I'm dealing with that lag myself here on my end. You know, we have an engineering program where we provided laptops to the students along with their Chromebooks because they're only in it for a semester. So it's, I guess I kind of missed some of your question because I'm trying to figure out this lag, but like I said, we maintain our labs. We try and give the kids as much access as possible. So, you know, we've got Macs, we've got PCs, we've got laptops and desktops and iPads, and I don't know. So I'm not sure if that answered your question or not.
Yeah, I was just wondering about what concerns about what to do when the internet's down. What can you do with a Chromebook when there's no Wi-Fi?
Oh, okay, yeah. No, we've given the students some tutorials on how to set up offline mail and offline docs, but really, that is a major setback. You know, I don't know if you recall last year, or maybe it didn't happen in your part of the country, but Google was down for about 20 minutes one day, and this was before we had agreed to roll out the Chromebooks, and everybody was just freaking out. You know, hey, we told you this isn't going to work, and it's like, this is like a major national outage. This isn't, you know, just our school, so just relax. It'll be back shortly, and so I don't know. I guess it's just one of those things. What did you do before you had laptops? You know, good education is good education. So I know it's not a great answer, but
No, it's good.
I found this. I just put a post in the chat for how to work with the Chromebook offline. It's not ideal, like you were just saying, but you know, if they have things saved, you can still get to them, and it'll resave once you get online. Like you said, with a 20-minute outage, I mean, you know, everyone thinks that's the worst thing ever, but you know, it's going to happen. So they just have to be ready for it. Also, we finally got Dustin in. Sorry, Dustin. The link in what I was supposed to invite you is something wrong, so I apologize for that. But now that you're hopefully in, hopefully you can hear, and if you'd like to introduce yourself, go ahead.
All right, I'm Dustin Ellis. Can you hear me?
We can.
I'm Dustin Ellis. I live in Simi Valley, California. I'm the teacher on special assignment for education technology integration. We are in the process of becoming a Google Apps district, and we're in the process of purchasing approximately 1,200 Chromebooks for a one-to-one pilot initiative and SBAC testing.
So you're about the same place we are. I'm down in San Marcos or San Diego, California. We're going to get 2,200 for the Common Core testing. The other Ryan has, I think he said 700 that are deployed one-to-one right now in an all-girls school. So he's got the most experience right now. But you know, it's going to be a huge learning curve. I don't know if you guys have found the Chromebook communities on Google+, but they're awesome. The people in there are very friendly. They, you know, answer your questions. You can post things, and they get back to you very quickly. So if you haven't searched for a Chromebook community, there's a couple of them, but they're really good.
So, are we talking about using like the apps management? I mean, is that where we're headed here, or?
We kind of floundering around, just trying to ask and answer some questions. Ryan, like I said, he's the guru right now because he's had them for 4 months. Otherwise, we're all just kind of trying to figure it out. And I haven't actually touched our Chromebooks yet. I have a sample one that I've been able to play with, but you know, with just one, there's not a whole lot going on with it.
Okay. Can I ask a question of Ryan, who's had to get experience?
Sure.
Do you have like different app packages that you have for different OUs or different groups?
Yeah, we have gone just as an individual basis. We haven't gone with the app packs because a lot of the app packs that we ran across may have had an extra one that we didn't really want, or we just kind of threw together our own list. And being still kind of new at it ourselves, I mean, 4 months, we could evaluate this for 2 years and still not have all the answers. But
Yeah.
you know, we're kind of going through and finding ones that we like. Ones that the students find useful, the ones that the teachers find useful and functional. Because I mean, yeah, there's a lot of junk out there. You know, it's not there's not a perfect answer, but came across Lucid Press and Lucid Chart, and Lucid Press is a great answer to the Google Docs doesn't do what Microsoft does. Um, it's great for layout and publishing, newspapers, handouts, you know, any sort of higher level formatting issues that you might deal with. We got it for free somehow. I think it is a pay app, but there was a time I guess they were just kind of giving it away, so we grabbed it as quick as we could, and I'll tell you what, it's awesome. I mean, you know, it's a great replacement for like Publisher. So that's a pretty cool one. You know, like some of the standard ones, like the graphing calculator is nice. You know, the girls all have it built right in there. I can click through mine and throw some things together. I've actually got a document of a few things that I'll share with everybody here. Just ideas and things that we've been doing that we're happy to talk about. So.
I had the same type of question. Like I said, we haven't got them yet, but I just keep thinking how we're going to do it. And I was thinking that, you know, with the more education of the teachers, so our plan is to give them to specific teachers who are going to use them one-to-one, but then they'll also give them up for the 3 or 4 week testing window for Common Core, and just kind of really train those teachers as to what Google is and that there are apps and extensions available, and maybe turn on a lot of things to start, and then, you know, I guess look for the problems rather than limit it all and, you know, have them ask. So I guess it really depends on how willing our tech director is willing to, you know, open it all up.
That's the important part.
Yeah, I mean, it ultimately falls on
everybody
him.
kind of looking in the same direction. You know, that's the important part.
How do you? I mean, I don't know what the structure of your school is, but how have you gathered together the people to kind of bring them all to the same frame of mind?
We're still doing that.
Okay.
We are, you know, we're just a 9 through 12, so you know, it's a little easier for me to do this. And being a private school, it's even easier because it's, you know, sink or swim, guys. We're not protected by a union. We're on 1-year contracts. But we've tried our best to prepare our teachers, and that's really been my job, is teaching the teachers how to use the devices or just the resources, blended learning and things like that. You know, we use Schoology as well for our LMS. But we've prepared for about 3 years, not knowing what the device was, but using the tools kind of in just a regular class environment. And now that the device is in front of everybody, it's a good way for teachers and students who've never learned or taught in this manner it's kind of a school-wide pilot. You know, I mean, it's really what it is, and I feel like it's going pretty well. We've got some grizzled veterans, and we've got some young whippersnapper teachers, and it's funny because we're all in the same place. You know, no one in our building has taught in a one-to-one before, so it's kind of fun. It's like just a piece of clay that you got to mold. You know.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know, we're going to stop the session in about 8 minutes so that we can get to the next one. They extended this first session by 10 minutes, so we have about 8 minutes to go.
I'm throwing my doc into the chat over here. It should be on view only, but obviously you can copy it. It's basically just a list of subject areas and links, things that work for us on the Chromebooks pretty well. Some of them are extensions, some of them are just apps, some are just websites. We got the theology down there at the end. If it's really just a glorified history class, I guess, but there's just a whole bunch of resources that we like and that have worked for us so far. So happy to share that, and if you want to steal stuff, and oh, we do use Hapara, and if you're familiar with Hapara, it's a little startup for sharing Google Docs. We've got a few teachers using it currently, and we're going to push it out to everybody second semester. So it's Teacher Dashboard by Hapara. It is a paid app. I think it's $4 a head.
Yeah, with 700 kids, you're probably okay. With 22,000, it might be a little pricey.
I would say. But they would love to have you, I'm sure.
Yeah. We've seen it in action, and it's really nice, but it's just a little over our heads right now.
Yeah, the other option I just typed in was G-class folders, which is at the top of that page as well. It's similar. It's just a big script, so Google Doc script. Phone.
Yeah, the beauty of edcampHOME, there's still home going on.
That's true.
What about carts and management carts? I know a lot of you are one-to-one. We're not going to let our devices go home with the kids right now. We're keeping them at school. And what are the cart options like?
I'll speak to ours. We haven't obviously have them yet, but we were buying carts of 42 for everyone, even though the elementary schools will probably only have 30 to 35 in them. That's why I was asking about management of them. I think what we're going to try to do is manage them by cart and have the name be the school name with the cart number. And that way we can push out apps to people who want them in those specific computers and those specific carts.
That's what I think we're going to do too. We're going to name those carts. I want to name them after 80s movies. And but that way we can manage them, I think, a little easier with pushing out, like you say, to specific. So you're buying 42, so you have space in the future?
Well, yeah, and our high schools have 42 we have AP classes, some of them with 45, and so we are questioning that. We also are confused as to what we're going to do, because the plan is to put 42 in a cart, obviously, but in a high school class of 42 or 45, when we have a couple machines go down and we just swap them out, how's the naming convention go for that? So we're going to have to, that's something we're trying to figure out still.
I just put in a name in the chat there. Diana Foley is a public school by us that has a number of carts in her district. I don't know how excited she'd be about people. I mean, she's on the Google website, so I mean, she's a pretty good resource about what they're doing with their carted Chromebooks.
And anybody in the session, I'd like to know, is everybody here Google Apps for Education, or are you using Chromebooks without being Google Apps?
We're Google Apps in San Marcos.
I am not in Google Apps, but I'm only getting a couple, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
go ahead, Ryan.
I was going to say I'd be interested to know. That's got to be pretty difficult. It's pretty entrenched in Google Apps, so I mean, that would be tough to deal with, I would think.
Well, give it a try and see what happens.
Yeah.
Paul, I would suggest, just guessing, with 2 devices, maybe you create 2 accounts, personal accounts that are classroom accounts, and maybe Paul is, room 32-1 and 32-2 or whatever it's going to be.
Okay.
That way you have the ability, because I mean that's the power of Google, is that like I can send I'm a science teacher, so I can send a lab out to my students and they share it with each other and then they work on it together, and so they all have their own accounts. That's kind of the power of it all.
Well, my problem is I teach fourth grade, so they don't have, without being a Google Apps school, they don't have any emails. So I use Edmodo as my learning management system, and Google Docs is fully integrated with it, so I can put a doc together and put it in Edmodo, and the kids can have access to it. So that works. That's my workaround right now.
Well, I guess it looks like we're probably wrapping up, and so if you want, we can close it down, and we can try to go figure out what our next session is going to be. It's this Edcamp Home is a whole different beast, that's for sure.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for the information.
Great job, Ryan, on moderating. Thank you.
Yes.
Well, I'm certainly glad the other Ryan showed up with his information, because moderating is easy. I just don't know what I'm doing yet.
Well, feel free. I'm on my email all day, every day, pretty much. If you have any questions about what we're doing or how we're doing it, maybe a one-on-one, I just threw it up in the box there. So take it and copy it, and happy to talk to anybody at any time. I don't teach a class, so I'm usually free.
Thank you. And I'm going to follow you on Twitter. Do you get your Twitter very often?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same thing too. Once we start going through it, I'm a EdTech TOSA like I think it was Ryan. You're a TOSA also, so I'm available for help once I figure it out anyway.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the broadcast. You guys can stay talking as long as you want. I'm just gonna stop the broadcast.